My topic is dynamic pricing in detail explain, and let's go to the topic and let's go to the start. Dynamic pricing is a pricing strategy that allows businesses to adjust the price of goods and services in real time based on market demand and other factors. This approach is used by many industries, including airlines, hotels, and e-commerce retailers. By using real-time data and algorithms, businesses can adjust prices to maximize profitability while also remaining competitive. Dynamic pricing can also help businesses avoid stock overload by adjusting prices to ensure inventory is sold. The strategy of dynamic pricing is becoming increasingly popular due to the ability to make more informed, data-driven pricing decisions. Dynamic pricing is also known as surge pricing or time-based costing. Firms use this strategy to assess current market requirements and set adaptable prices for products and services. In a sense, it's a form of pricing discrimination. To identify the best pricing strategy for your product or services, consider factors such as the customer propensity to acquire an item at a specific moment, supply and demand, competitor prices, and other external market pressures. Dynamic pricing is a relatively standard practice in several industries, including public transportation, electricity, shopping, entertainment, leisure, and hospitality. The dynamic pricing discussed in this post is explicitly tailored to web-based businesses, which have exploded significantly in recent years. The Internet allows vendors to easily adjust their prices, which are affected by fluctuations in demand. Dynamic pricing, also called real-time pricing, is an approach to setting the cost for a product or service that is highly flexible. The goal of dynamic pricing is to allow a company that sells goods or services over the Internet to adjust prices on the fly in response to market demands. Changes are controlled by pricing bots, which are software agents that gather data and use algorithms to adjust pricing according to business rules. Typically, the business rules take into account such things as the customer's location, the time of day, the day of the week, the level of demand and competitors' pricing. With the advent of big data and big data analytics, however, business rules for price adjustments can be made more granular. By collecting and analyzing data about a particular customer, a vendor can more accurately predict what price the customer is willing to pay and adjust prices accordingly. Dynamic pricing is legal, and the general public has learned to accept dynamic pricing when purchasing airline tickets or reserving hotel rooms online. The approach, which is sometimes marketed as a personalization service, has been less successful with online retail vendors. Dynamic pricing can be contrasted with fixed pricing, an approach to setting the selling price for a product or service that does not fluctuate. Dynamic pricing can be defined as a pricing strategy that ignores fixed pricing and applies variable pricing. In other words, it is a strategy in which the price of a particular product tends to change as per the ongoing customer's demand and supply. Dynamic pricing is a pricing strategy that does not use set prices and instead uses variable prices. In other words, it is a strategy in which the cost of a given good tends to fluctuate in response to changing customer demand and supply. This tactic frequently involves automation and uses cutting-edge data to adjust product prices on consumer behavior and willingness to pay. It helps merchants make the most money possible and eliminate their sluggish inventory. Additionally, it aids in tracking consumer behavior and understanding the ever-evolving trends for merchants. It improves inventory management by enabling businesses to quickly and in real time clear out their stockpiles. After carefully considering these factors, the store can decide on the new price by studying consumer behavior and other factors that impact the demand for and supply of the goods. The dynamic pricing strategy refers to the pricing of goods and services that are variable and which depend on the market forces of demand and supply. Thus, it is one of the pricing strategies in which the selling price of the company's product is not fixed. Instead, it keeps changing based on its customers' ongoing supply and demand of the product. Dynamic pricing in retail is partially based on technology. This strategy tends to be automated and uses advanced data to alter the prices of products as per customer behavior and their willingness to pay. It is highly useful in maximizing profits for the sellers and clearing out the slow-moving inventory. Retailers that are more into e-commerce can use technology and track consumers' behavior efficiently by evaluating their purchase patterns over a particular period, demographic characteristics, etc., and draw effective decisions concerning fixing the pricing of a specific product. After evaluating and noting these criteria, Retailers can set new prices for their products. Pricing products is easy, but repricing them becomes quite challenging. The users can make use of technology and accordingly track their customers' behavior, and with the results ascertained, they can then reprice their products. Dynamic pricing refers to charging different prices for a product or service, depending on who is buying it or when it sells. Dynamic pricing is sometimes called demand pricing, surge pricing, or time-based pricing. And it's a reaction to changes in competition, supply, demand, and other market forces. Dynamic pricing made headlines when the prices of everyday goods such as toilet paper and hand sanitizer changed dramatically. More common examples are happy hours at your local bar, airline pricing on travel websites, and rideshare surge pricing. Dynamic pricing is a strategy that involves setting flexible prices for goods or services based on real-time demand. Algorithms and machine learning help facilitate this real-time pricing strategy. Companies can factor in things like supply and demand changes, competitor pricing, and other market conditions to help set product prices. Dynamic pricing decisions won't work for every business or industry. But industries that often use dynamic prices include hospitality, travel, including the airline industry, entertainment, e-commerce businesses, retail, electricity, public transportation. Generally, dynamic pricing favors wealthier consumers. Wealthier consumers have the means to handle price adjustments. Consumers with more limited funds may find themselves priced out of the market when prices increase. They may wait for lower prices or sales to purchase goods or services. Dynamic pricing goes by many names such as real-time pricing, time-based pricing, surge pricing, and demand pricing. It is, by definition, a pricing strategy where a company sets flexible and variable prices on its products and services depending on any number of standalone or competing factors such as demand, supply chain, competition, location, time frame, and other market conditions. However, most importantly, dynamic pricing is contingent on market forces. A dynamic pricing strategy is not designed to work for every business nor in every industry. Dynamic pricing, also called surge pricing, demand pricing, real-time pricing or algorithmic pricing is where the price is flexible based on demand, supply, competition price, subsidiary product prices. Price may even change from customer to customer based on their purchase habits. Dynamic pricing enables suppliers to be more flexible and adjusts prices to be more personalized. Dynamic pricing is the strongest profitability lever. 1% increase in prices will result in 10% improvement in profit for a business with 10% profit margin. Machine learning-based dynamic pricing systems have clear advantages when compared to manual pricing. More precise, SKU-level prices. Faster response to demand fluctuations. Price changes take into account more factors including customers' price perception, leading to long-term increases in sales or profits. More positive impact on revenue. Image below shows how much more value dynamic pricing generates compared to other pricing strategies. It is difficult to achieve significant financial improvement in a large company. Most large organizations move slowly because of multiple levels of hierarchy, are reluctant to make radical changes as they need to be conscious about the sensitivities of a broad customer base, need hundreds of millions of additional sales to achieve a significant percentage improvement in profits, need hundreds of millions of OPEX improvements to achieve a significant percentage improvement in profits. However, OPEX improvements are painful and slow. For example, headcount reductions are demoralizing and severance packages negatively impact financials in the short term. However, dynamic pricing is one of the few approaches that can lead to quick results in large companies and make the responsible team heroes. We explained why dynamic pricing is so important for large companies in detail. A dynamic pricing definition would be a strategy that uses variable prices instead of fixed ones, selling the same product at different prices to different groups of people. Simply put, it's a pricing strategy that utilizes variable prices instead of fixed ones. Simple, huh? In practice, retailers can adjust their prices whenever they want to capitalize on a changing market. Technically, this is the same as price discrimination. Leverage machine learning algorithms or statistical analysis to offer different prices to different groups based on factors such as device type, location, and demographic information. When lawsuits and customer complaints do happen, it's usually because of this form of dynamic pricing. This can be called group-based pricing. Are you searching for a product from a high-end smartphone in the Hollywood Hills? Then the price is going to be higher. On the time. This is what the intoxicated bus passenger was so infuriated about. When demand is high, so is the price. If you're jumping on the same wagon as everyone else, can expect the cost to be higher. This is a highly sophisticated method. Individuals will use something like TACHNIQUES to make these decisions on the fly to maximize revenue for events and meet different levels of demand. So, we've seen a definition of dynamic pricing. How about some examples? Dynamic pricing examples can be found in ride-sharing services, airlines, B&Bs and hotels, and e-commerce stores. These examples demonstrate how dynamic pricing can be effective in boosting revenue. However, it's important to carefully consider the potential backlash from consumers, and to implement the strategy in a way that maximizes benefits while minimizing the risks. Dynamic pricing is widespread with ride-sharing services such as Uber and Lyft. In this industry, snowy, rainy, or stormy days and the rush hour dictate the prices. A great example of surge pricing, to get extra benefits from these environmental or time-based conditions. If you're in a state where it's often raining, I'm looking at you, Portland, you may not see the same swing in pricing. The food delivery industry follows similar practices. While many people can usually organize their flight a few months in advance, the same cannot be said for many business people, as they often need to reserve flights at the last minute. Because of this, airplane price tickets can change in a matter of minutes. Prices of bed and breakfasts, B&Bs, and hotels are correlated with seasons and different holidays, events, and other special days in the year. By using dynamic pricing, this industry can generate more revenue. Planning a vacation somewhere warm during spring break? Expect the price to skyrocket. It's also possible to use scarcity and urgency to squeeze out every dollar. In essence, dynamic pricing is the concept of selling the same product at different prices based on the changing dynamics of the current market demand. This is why it is also called real-time pricing, surge pricing, or time-based pricing. The decision-making process behind the dynamic pricing model is quite impressive. Under the hood, machine learning robots are working for you to develop new algorithmic models based on the market demands and your competitors' actions. This data-driven process allows companies to adjust the prices of their goods continuously within seconds. Dynamic pricing strategy is popular among many business models. But the first companies that spring to mind are the airline industry, e-commerce businesses, public transportation, retail, and entertainment. Since each of these industries has different mechanics, they use different types of dynamic pricing models. However, dynamic pricing can also lead to price discrimination, where different customers are charged different prices for the same product, which may be perceived as unfair. It also requires sophisticated data analysis and software systems, which can be costly for small businesses that may not have access to such resources. Additionally, frequent price changes may confuse customers and erode loyalty if they perceive a lack of consistency in pricing. Overall, dynamic pricing can be a powerful tool for businesses to optimize pricing and increase profitability, but it should be used cautiously and with consideration for the potential impact on customers and brand perception. Dynamic pricing based on groups. These include discounts for specific identified groups, such as public servants and senior citizens. This type of dynamic pricing is typically used for promotions and to target various price sensitivities. Dynamic pricing based on time. This pricing strategy covers a wide range of scenarios. It's common in businesses where service or product demand fluctuates throughout the day. Alternatively, your corporation may wish to provide incentives to encourage purchasing for various reasons. Here are a few examples to get you started. Varying rates sometimes benefit transportation enterprises greatly. An example of this is decreasing taxi fares at night to encourage usage. With each new collection, e-commerce retailers can reduce the price of previous collections to get rid of obsolete inventory. Several delivery businesses demand an additional fee for same-day delivery. Cost plus pricing. Cost plus pricing simply means selling a product you produce for a higher price. Many organizations use this strategy as it is the most basic pricing method. Competitor-based pricing. Competitor-based pricing is a costing technique in which a corporation determines the cost of its services or products after studying its competition. Value-based pricing. Price elasticity. Organizations use value-based pricing to cost goods and services at a price that they feel customers are willing to pay. Rather than estimating manufacturing costs and adding a conventional markup, companies assess the value perceived by customers and charge them appropriately. Price skimming. Price skimming is a pricing method wherein businesses charge the maximum product entry price that customers can afford and then slowly decrease that sale value over time. As clients' requirements are met, the company significantly reduces the cost of their products or service to appeal to price-sensitive individuals. Bundle pricing. Bundle pricing is a pricing method in which companies group several products into one and sell them for a specified price instead of charging separately for products or services. In addition to items and products, businesses may use this pricing method to price a range of services. Bundle pricing may help grow revenue since it portrays items as having a higher overall worth. Penetration pricing. The penetration pricing strategy is frequently utilized when a new firm enters a market or an established business attempts to dominate it. Companies do this by offering cheaper costs than their competitors. Of course, this cheap pricing will not last for long. Businesses gradually raise prices when they achieve a particular consumer base and demand level. Peak pricing. Peak pricing is the alteration made in prices based on the current supply. Segmented dynamic pricing. The customer data is taken into use for altering prices. Customer behavior. Customer behavior is the driving force behind the price change while using dynamic pricing tools. Competitor pricing. The prices are altered based on the prices that the competitors offer. Time-based dynamic pricing. The time factor plays the driving force behind the price change. Supply and demand based on locality. In this, prices are altered due to the demand and supply of the different types of products that tend to differ based on geographical reasons. Segmented pricing. This strategy is characterized by different prices for identical products, with the exact same production and distribution costs. Sometimes, certain segments of the population are willing and able to pay more for the same or very similar product or service. For example, the pricing of airline tickets in business and first class is higher than a coach class seat because some people prefer luxury and comfort over price, and they are willing to pay more. Sure, you might drink free champagne and eat a better meal in first class. But at the end of the day, you're flying the same NYC to LAX route as those people sitting at the back of the aircraft and you'll arrive at the same time. Segmented pricing can also be used to target customers in different geographical areas. The pricing of your products differs based on your customer's current location. Using segmented pricing you can potentially attract niche customers who place more value on a service or product than others. For example, home security companies may have more success focusing on high-crime areas. Time-based pricing. This pricing strategy is popular in industries where the demand for the product or service changes surge throughout the day, or where businesses are looking to offer incentives to trigger customer purchases for different reasons. Transportation businesses often benefit significantly from different tariffs, for example, night tariffs for taxis, or Lyft or Uber surge pricing late in the evening. With every new fashion collection released, fashion houses lower the older collection's prices to clear the redundant stock. Delivery companies may charge extra for express or same-day delivery. Peak pricing. A close relative to time-based pricing, peak pricing is predicated on peak hours, or peak seasons equating to high demand. Peak pricing is directly related to market demand based on seasonality or rush hours. Effectively, the prices are set high as limited choices exist for consumers and there is a lack of competitors providing similar products or services. The cost of hotel rooms during peak seasons versus the cost of a hotel room during off-seasons is a good example of peak pricing put into practice. Price discrimination. Price discrimination involves setting the same product at different prices on different channels. There are varying degrees of this. First-degree price discrimination. Charge the maximum amount for each product based on the channel in which they are being sold. Second-degree discrimination takes quantity into account. Bulk purchases are offered at a lower price per unit. Third-degree discrimination is based on the individual consumer. Ladies' nights or special seniors or students' prices are good examples. It is recommended to only use price discrimination if it's bringing a direct benefit to your shoppers and your business can see a benefit too. Most importantly, you need to be able to justify your prices to your customers when using price discrimination. Price shifts due to random market fluctuations. Markets are vulnerable to sudden shifts like pandemics, conflicts and other unforeseen events that suddenly cause boosts to demand. Anyone who has been tracking market conditions since the global pandemic hit in March 2020 and the events since can attest to both the unpredictability and uncertain state of marketplace moves and their fluctuations. Penetration pricing. Penetration pricing strategy. Penetration pricing is a pricing strategy that is used by new companies to gain a significant market share quickly by setting an introductory low price to entice customers to buy their products. Established companies also use the strategy when launching new products to build market share. Demand volume. Amazon's price changes are based on expected market demand for products. Additionally, Amazon factors in whether the demand is seasonal or predictable, and why the user will make their purchase, need, peer pressure, fashion etc. Stock volume. As always, if demand is outstripping supply, the higher the product. On Amazon, if stock units are already low, and continued demand is anticipated, prices will likely increase. Product visits, repetition and frequency. Using cookies to track users, the Amazon sales platform knows how many times a shopper may have viewed the same product, the time of day they viewed it and if they browse related products at the same time. Based on that data, a price is generated for the potential buyer and additional products may be offered to increase the average value of each transaction. Day and time of purchase. The purchase of certain products increases on certain days of the week or even particular times of the day, just like airline seats or hotel rooms. For example, Airbnb users, have you noticed you regularly receive the latest offers on Sunday mornings? Usually, these are the times when the user has more relaxation time to browse, compare, and decide. Amazon usually implements defined price changes at these times. Depending on your industry, dynamic pricing can potentially assist you in growing your business. However, being fully aware of the pros and cons of the strategy before you jump in. There is no universal answer to know how implementing dynamic pricing will impact your business. Ultimately, your decision to implement, or not, a dynamic pricing strategy will depend upon your confidence that the possible benefits outweigh the disadvantages. Dynamic pricing allows your business to set real-time prices based on the trends that impact your company most. Using dynamic pricing, you can simultaneously maximize revenue while remaining competitive. Dynamic pricing can potentially save your company money over the long term. Since software determines your automatic timing and extent of repricing, you will not need to allocate additional budget for your market research and manual price inputs. Dynamic pricing can have a significant impact on the growth of your business. A dynamic pricing strategy can help you achieve a 2 to 5% sales growth and a 5 to 10% bump in profit margins, according to McKinsey. Dynamic pricing can assist your retail business in understanding the ever-changing trends and track customer behavior, all while enhancing your inventory management, allowing you to clear off outdated inventory quickly and in real time. Dynamic pricing can be managed effectively with the right pricing software. Monitoring hundreds of thousands of products and keeping a tab on the real-time supply and demand shifts is a challenging and complex task, far beyond the scope of manual pricing in Excel. However, you can manage it with carefully chosen pricing software. Taking the guesswork out of dynamic pricing, automating the entire process can assist in setting optimal product prices to achieve your desired business outcomes. Customer sentiment. Customers usually do not appreciate things that make them uncertain. Fixed pricing of products or services and knowing what you will pay for your favorite products can lead to a feeling of comfort. As a result, dynamic pricing can make customers feel like the company is playing them. Before implementing dynamic pricing, make sure that it fits the brand image of your company. Price war risks. Dynamic pricing can sometimes escalate price matching wars. And competing companies can cannibalize each other and drive each other out of business. Not suitable for every industry. Dynamic pricing is good, but it is difficult to implement a dynamic pricing strategy in every industry. It is a pricing strategy staple in the tourism, hospitality, and service industries. However, it is less suitable where there are a limited number of customers, for example OEM manufacturers to auto, aero and rail as an example. Additionally, original equipment manufacturer, OEM, pricing is often dictated by the equipment manufacturer, so there is no dynamic pricing possible. Lost sales. Many customers research product prices on the internet well in advance of making a purchase. If they go into a store or shop online and discover a product is priced higher than what they researched or expected, they may leave to shop elsewhere and complete their purchase. Dynamic pricing strategy is, and how it might be beneficial to your business. Take the time to make sure to dive a little deeper and follow these steps before implementing anything extra into your business's practices. Set clear business goals. Make sure you know exactly what your business is hoping to achieve before you put any strategies into practice. Research your competitors. Check if your direct competitors are using dynamic pricing. Talk to your people. Notify your staff of any price strategy changes. Liaise with your salespeople for customer feedback on your prices. They know your customers better than anyone. Select the right dynamic pricing strategy for you. Look at different methods of dynamic price adjustments and carefully select which products would be best suited for pricing changes. Don't make changes en masse across your entire product line. Start small and extend the strategy over time if it is working. Consider AI-informed dynamic pricing software. Dynamic pricing cannot be done manually across hundreds of thousands of products in Excel spreadsheets. On the other hand, next-generation pricing software can manage the dynamic pricing of your products. Dynamic prices are determined by rules-based or self-improving algorithms which take into account numerous variables to set the best price for that specific product for that customer at that time. These are some of the variables used to make pricing decisions: supply, stock levels, current cost, future cost predictions, demand, product page views in e-commerce platforms, seasonality of products, data about specific customer, demographic data like age, gender, current location and permanent residence, income, device-specific data like device brand and model. For example, iPhone users tend to spend more than Android users. Behavioral data including customer spending habits, how much did customers spend in the past for similar products, customers' willingness to search for good prices, competition's prices, substitute products prices including products sold by both company and its competitors. After knowing all of this, extensive machine training is required to build a successful dynamic pricing model. Many businesses are leveraging the power of dynamic pricing strategies. As you see in the examples above, you can increase your market share, benefit from seasons and develop psychological pricing strategies to increase your revenue. You'll see soon, there are many more upsides of using a dynamic pricing model. But as you know, things that have an upside often have a downside. The good news is, many businesses experience these downsides for you. All you need to do is to be cautious about downsides and only focus on the benefits. Let's start with pleasant flavors. Know your customers. This is the foundational building block of a great dynamic pricing strategy. Well, knowing your customers is not a one-day work. You need to follow them and answer these questions continuously. Who are they? What are their prices? What are their pricing strategies? How often do they pivot their strategies? By doing this, you are shaping your dynamic pricing strategy and finding out the trends and patterns in your industry. By the way, you don't have to do all this by yourself. There are dynamic pricing tools that could do all of this stuff for you. As you implement your dynamic pricing model, you'll start to measure and track your customers' behavior, frequency and timing of the purchases, the minimum and the maximum price that your customers are willing to pay. A detailed overview of the demand curve. This process will fuel your dynamic pricing machine and will guide you to a better pricing strategy with each insight. By fueling your dynamic pricing machine with each insight, you'll have a better understanding of your customers' shopping patterns, preferences, and limits. Eventually, this will guide you through creating a better and more accurate pricing strategy. Aside from that, you'll have an almost unfair advantage against your competitors. You'll always know about their pricing and set a specific set of rules to adjust your price based on your strategy. This alone can give you market domination in the long run. Before we get into the disadvantages, we would like to remind you of Amazon's story. Amazon dominated the market by using dynamic pricing strategies that go beyond human capabilities. The company invested in machine learning, AI and big data analytics to estimate future demands and trends. Since Amazon's pricing engine makes millions of price changes in a day, of course, some customers noticed and complained about this price discrimination strategy. Customer alienation. People hate when they realize that someone else paid half price for the identical item they bought. Simply, they feel like they've been ripped off. So there is a risk of losing your loyal customers and their circle of influence. But have preventive limits to the maximum amount of fluctuation to keep things accountable. And as we mentioned in Amazon's case, you'll most likely end up gaining more customers. Better market overview. Know who your clients are. This is the cornerstone of a successful dynamic pricing strategy. Knowing your clients is not a one-day job. You must continuously stay in contact with them and ask them the following questions. What are the costs your clients face? What pricing tactics do they employ? What is the frequency with which they change their strategies? You'll be able to shape your dynamic pricing strategy and learn about industry trends over time by following these steps. You don't have to do this on your own. Instead, there are dynamic pricing systems that can handle everything for you. Increase in revenue. You will better understand your clients' buying behaviors when you include consumer insights into your pricing plan. You will also gain a lead on your competitors since you will always be informed on their pricing, and this will better help you adjust your dynamic pricing approach to fit your price plan. Ultimately, this will guarantee you market dominance. Get to know your customers. You'll begin to track and measure your clients' behavior as you deploy your dynamic pricing strategy. This will provide you with an overview of various trends, including the regularity of purchases and the order in which they are made, the lowest and highest price your consumers are willing to pay, an in-depth look at the demand curve. This method will feed your dynamic pricing engine and help you generate a better pricing plan with every insight. More control over your pricing strategy. With real-time access to price patterns, dynamic pricing allows organizations to adjust their pricing plans. Businesses may monitor competition price changes and better understand supply and demand throughout the industry by employing dynamic pricing. Risk of losing customers. Customers may become perplexed when it comes to buying certain products due to continual fluctuation in prices. As a result, these clients may not respond to dynamic pricing and instead opt for fixed rates or discontinue using your product or service. Risk of starting a price war. It is important for any business to be competitive, but variable pricing can sometimes become too much. Your business will have to balance potential risks of a price war with the overall effectiveness of dynamic pricing. Can be time-consuming. Switching up prices on products and services continually requires a lot of competitor monitoring and market study, which can take a lot of employee manpower. The process is prone to errors. Inaccurate market data can cause significant profit losses. Faulty inputs will cripple even the most robust dynamic pricing strategy. However, today's technology enables precise, centralized pricing administration and speedy reporting of price adjustments, which can help you avoid pitfalls. Thank you for watching the video and subscribe the channel.